Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, and a #1 best-selling author, host of the Ken Coleman Show, where he talks about jobs and careers every day, is my co-host today. So we'll be talking about that and your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. We're going to start this hour with Selena in Orlando. Hi, Selena. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. I'm really excited to be talking to you.
Great. How can we help?
I'm married. I'm 28. I live in Orlando, and our household income is $155,000. And we just had a baby, and we were living in a really small condo and kind of needed more space really quickly. So I withdrew all of my 403B, about $26,000, to cover the down payment and the closing costs. I think when we sell our current home, I'll get about $26,000 to $30,000 back. But now I'm a new listener and realize I'm kind of didn't follow any of the baby steps. And I'm just wondering what advice you would give us in terms of having a bit of a higher mortgage payment now, and then also needing to kind of rebuild retirement or starting a bit from scratch.
Ouch. Well, it's not got anything to do with the baby steps. You've screwed yourself. You've really made yourself a mess. Because if you do not redeposit the $26,000 within 60 days of the time you took it out, you're going to be charged your tax rate plus a 10% penalty on this. And so you're going to lose 40% of that money in taxes and penalties.
Okay.
Translation, $13,000.
Okay.
$12,000 is going to government.
Okay.
So when you sell your house, you need to set aside enough to cover the mess you made when your tax bill comes next year.
Okay.
And then the rest of that money will be used for wherever you are, I guess, in your situation. But yeah, you borrowed money for a down payment at 40% interest is what you did.
Okay. Yeah, I was hoping with the tax thing, we'll have a baby on there, and this is the first year we'll be filing
You
can't
together. Offset this level of mess.
Okay.
Babies don't cover this. No,
okay.
not even close. So this is,
right.
You really stepped in it. Oh my gosh. How long ago did you pull the money out?
Let's see. We're in July, so maybe about a month ago. But the house that we're having built won't be done until end of September, and so I'm trying to time the selling of this house with the closing of the next house.
Why did you pull the money out if you haven't closed on your other house?
I needed the money for the down payment. So you put the down payment first, and then for them to start building, and then
it's not a down payment; it's a deposit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I had to put 5% of the house, 5% of the cost of the house. I had to give that to them in order for them to start building it.
Yeah, and then if your house doesn't sell, now you got 2 house payments, and you're double screwed.
Well, the other houses in the townhome have been going for $30K more than what I originally paid for it, and so I'm hoping to get a bigger when this house does sell.
Yeah. If interest rates tick up a point by September, by the time you get your house on the market and the market freezes like a deer in the headlights, you've really messed yourself up. I'm scared for you, honey. I'm scared. You guys got completely impulsive, and you impulsed a house and it made yourself a mess, potentially. I hope you get out of it with your skin intact, but I'm not positive you're going to. So anyway, what can we do from here? I assume you gave them $26,000, right?
I gave them 16.
Okay, so you have 10.
Yeah, and then I had savings already, so I have about 17,000 in savings.
Plus 10.
No, to 17 in total. I had 7 already. And then
you
I
had
have the
7
10
and
left
7. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have any other money?
No, no.
Do you have investments of any kind that are not mutual fund or that are not retirement accounts?
Maybe 3 months ago, I opened up a 529 for my daughter.
How much is in it?
Probably about $3,000.
Okay, because every dollar we can put back in that 403B before the 60-day mark is not going to be taxed or penalized. And so I'm going to scrape nickels out of the corner of the couch and try to get as close to $26,000 back in there, because every dollar you put in there is going to save you 40 cents. You follow me?
Okay.
$10,000. If you can put $10,000 in there, it saves you $4,000. And the $4,000 is just burned up. It just went to mist. It didn't accomplish anything except to allow you to buy something you weren't ready to buy and didn't need to be buying. But you're there now. So, yeah, you need to scratch together as much as you can and put it back. Go to RamseySolutions.com and click on SmartVestor and find a SmartVestor Pro that helps with investing in your area that we recommend, and they'll help you try to get this undone and get as much money back in that account before that 60-day mark as you can to keep from getting hammered with a 10% penalty plus your 30% tax rate, 40 cents on the dollar. Okay? Now, then the rest of this is we're going to have to put you on a game plan where you guys stop buying things you can't afford and buying them out of order because you justify it with a lot of emotion because you had a baby. Babies don't take up that much room. They're not that big. And so this is just complete normal stuff. I'm not mad at you, honey. I'm scared for you. And I really want you to not have a mess, because by this time next year, if you got 2 house payments and a $13,000 tax bill, all because you bought a house and can't get your house sold, you got a mess on your hands. You've set your family up for a real problem here unless this just unfolds perfectly for you. So let's get with a SmartVestor Pro and get this turned around.
I say, Dave, I'm following you. Would you suggest, you didn't say it, so that's why I'm asking, pulling the $3,000 out of the $529 and adding to it?
I'd pull every dollar I can find that's not in a retirement account.
All right, so in this case, she's got 17 in savings. She puts the 3 on top of that. She's at 20. Does she keep $1,000 in at baby step 1?
Yeah, keep $1,000.
So now we're at 19.
Yeah.
How does she come up with $7,000 in 30 days?
Or she gets penalized only on $7,000, not on $26,000.
I like this. And so if I'm hearing you, and I hope you're hearing this, Selena, I mean, we got access to 19 right now.
And you need to get your budget on a beans and rice thing and start replenishing your savings account very, very quickly.
But I like getting taxed on 7 versus 26.
Taxed and penalized at 40 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, wow. So
yeah, this is you do not use your retirement account, people.
Yeah.
You do not use it for anything except retirement. And the system's designed to punish you beyond belief if you do.
And the baby doesn't
cool.
care.
It ain't cool. No. It's not okay. You know, it's not funny. It's not fun. Then there's no rationalization. You know, babies don't take up that much room. Slow down. Sell your house. When your house sells, take that money, buy a house. If you want to build a house, then take that money, move into an apartment, and use the money from the sale of your house for your deposit on the new construction. But you got sucked into new house fever bad. Instead of taking a cold shower, you got yourself in a mess. I'm sorry, hon. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer. And good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 825-5225. This is the Ramsey Show. Thank you for being with us, America. Tanner's with us in Washington, D.C. Hi, Tanner. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So my question is, I'm curious about the flexibility of spending more than 30% of your take-home pay on rent. Found that pretty difficult to do, especially in like an urban area like DC. I live in downtown. I make around $90,000 a year, post-grad 23-year-old. I got $20,000 in cash and $7,000 in an investment account, and my only debt is around $7,500 in student loans. And I spend about $2,000 a month in rent, which is my biggest expense by far. But I still find myself able to save and spend less on other things. I'm just curious your take on that approach.
Okay. Well, we tell folks to put 25% of their take-home pay aside for housing. And no, math works in every city and in every state. You don't get a pass on math because you're in Washington, D.C., even though Congress thinks you do.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, a lot of people think they do.
Yeah, a lot of people in D.C. think you do, but you don't. And the purpose behind it is not that 25% is magic, Tanner. The purpose behind it is don't be house poor. If you find yourself able to save and able to invest because you keep all other parts of your lifestyle so low, then you're okay. But but what happens to most people is when they've got a high cost of housing in their budget, it squeezes their budget and there's not room to save up to buy the next car, so the next car becomes debt. And there's not room to save up for Christmas, and Christmas becomes debt. And there's not room to save up for a couch, and the couch becomes debt, and because it's all going out in house payment. And so, in effect, what you did is you didn't, by squeezing yourself, you did that. Now, you're telling me you've made room in your budget and you're doing okay, then, if whatever you want to do, brother. But here's the thing. Whatever you spend on rent is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just setting fire to $100 bills in the middle of the floor. And so the more $100 bills you burn in the middle of the floor, the less money you got, man. I mean, it's a pretty simple equation.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely reduces the ability to buy down the road for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because you're giving it to them in rent. And so I don't know how you fix that exactly necessarily in your situation. Maybe your commute is longer. Maybe there's a roommate involved, or maybe you just say, it's going to cost me this, and it's my choice, and I'm an adult. Well, yeah, you're allowed to do all that. But our reason to giving you the 25% guideline, it's not a rule, it's a guideline, is so that you don't become house poor. Because if you're, for instance, going to get a mortgage, folks in America, the stupid mortgage company will approve you for almost double that. I mean, they'll approve you close to 50% of your take-home pay, 36% of your ratio, and so, and that's not based on take-home pay, the 36, that you can get a house payment up to, close to half of your dadgum take-home pay. And there's just no way that budget works, people. And, well, I'm in California. Well, California, they got to do math, too, even though your governor doesn't think so. You got to do math, It's not an option. Math is math, and it's not a moral construct. It's a math thing.
Well, to win, Tanner, in professional world, financial world, you've got to sacrifice. Everybody who wins has to sacrifice something. And what we've done here with this 25%, you are now having to choose. Do you want to sacrifice money, as Dave said, by burning those extra $100 between the 5% that we're talking about? Or do you want to sacrifice a little bit of your time? Now, you're living downtown D.C., that's premium. And I get it. You may work on the Hill, who knows what you do, but you're there for a reason. But if you move out into the suburbs of Northern Virginia, I know it well, yes, it's a headache. But we'd rather you sacrifice the right thing, and that's why we put this. I want people to understand what we're teaching here. It's not to be hard and fast on a rule. It's to help you learn what you need to sacrifice. And in my situation, if I were in your situation, Tanner, I would be sacrificing my time, not my money.
Yeah, 23 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you this, Ken. I did it worse than he's doing it.
Sure.
Worse.
Yeah, he's in good shape.
My wife and I get out of college, and here's how stupid we were. We go and rent we have 2 dogs. We're just out of college.
Yep.
We got 2 little jobs. We go and rent a 3-bedroom townhouse.
Sure.
Luxury.
Right.
Thing.
Sure.
That's like 5 times what we needed because we thought it was cool.
Do you remember what were in the extra rooms?
Nothing.
Sure.
Because by the time we finished paying the freaking rent, we had no money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what we ended up doing was moving into a little 1-bedroom apartment in a questionable, I don't know what those ladies down the hall were doing, in a questionable situation. And
you were hoping you weren't on a Vice episode?
Man, I'm telling you. And we lived there for a year, but it was 1/3 the rent that we were paying before. 1/3. And so that'd be like you had an $1,800 rent, and we moved down to a $600 rent.
Right.
Kind of thing today. In today's dollars, it was a lot less than that back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. But yeah, oh my gosh, wow.
Well, see, I hear that.
I did the exact same crap.
No, I get it. But
I
your
wanted
point,
something nice, and I had a job.
Yeah.
And I'd gotten out of college, and I deserved it.
We
But I
have a
was
lot
stupid.
of 23-year-olds that are in a very similar situation to Tanner. Now, just think about this. If he gets a roommate, and now he's saving, let's just call it $1,000 a month, okay, splitting the rent. He's paying off that student loan debt of $7,000 really, really fast, and now he's just stacking money.
Yeah,
so that's what we're talking
cash. Stacking cash, man. It's so much smarter than renting. Paying all that money in rent. Tyler's in Louisville. Hi, Tyler. What's up?
Yes, I had a quick question. First of all, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
So I have I'm on baby step 2 and been doing ish for a while. At the beginning of the year, I got smart and said, "You're stupid, get out of debt." With the student loans coming back up, because I've been basically taking that payment, putting it towards everything else. Mine is consolidated, or I believe it is at least. Because, do I look at the individual loan amounts, or do I just look at the consolidated amount where I put it at?
If it's consolidated, it's now one amount.
Okay.
It used to be little loans. If it is one loan, I mean, if it's a bunch of little, will you be paying a bunch of little payments or one payment?
No, I pay one payment, and when I look at it, I see all the individual ones I took out.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
But
the purpose of the debt snowball is what you want to have happen in the debt snowball is you want to clear a debt and that payment on that debt to go away. When you clear one of these little debts, it doesn't change your payment.
All right. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So I would just put the total in your debt snowball.
Awesome. That works.
Hey, man.
That's really easy. Thank you, sir.
Get after it. That's really smart because, the data is now coming out now that we're actually finding that you're going to have to pay your student loans, which we kind of been telling you for 3 freaking years. But now that we found out that we were right again, yes, I just said I told you so. Live with it. But now that we found out you have to pay your student loans, there's going to be a lot of questions about student loans. And one of the things we're finding, Jade and I were talking about this earlier, is that people basically took the money that they would have been paying on student loans and spent it.
Yes, they did.
On vacations, alcohol, drugs. This is the actual surveys are coming back. I went on a party.
Nice, yeah.
With the money that the taxpayers told me I didn't have to pay right now because you were in a COVID crisis. Anybody remember what COVID was? Yeah, it was there. It was just a minute ago. But it was a crisis, if y'all didn't remember. And it was such a crisis that nobody could pay their student loans. But they were able to use the money that they would have been paying on their student loans and go buy drugs and alcohol and vacations. So apparently it wasn't too big a freaking crisis. What do I know? Just going with the data here.
Yeah, that's what happens when you trust a politician with an empty promise that's not constitutional.
Well, or someone from the medical community that's trying to do math.
Well, there's that
Which
too.
is proof that we've proven that, once America got Fauci'd, we figured out what happened. This is The Ramsey Show. Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book From Paycheck to Purpose, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Thank you for joining us, America. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, on the debt-free stage, Jared and Christina are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey,
Doing
good.
well, thank
How are you?
Welcome. Where do you guys live?
Woodstock, Georgia, about 40 miles north of Atlanta.
Yeah, I know it well. Well, welcome to Nashville. Not a bad drive up here.
Not bad.
Good to have you. So how much debt have you two paid off?
$136,000.
All right. And how long did this take you?
7 years to the day that we bought the house.
Okay. And what was your range of income during that 7 years?
We started about 60 and ended about 145.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a mechanic for the post office.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm accounts payable manager at Kennesaw State University.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. So you got a little bit of a commute down there.
Actually, it's only nine miles from me.
Oh, okay. All right. Not bad. All right. I missed up. All right. So 136, 7 years. Sounds like you paid off your house.
Yes.
All right. Look at it, weird people.
Yep.
Way to go, you guys. What's this house worth?
$345 now.
I'm sorry?
$345.
$345. Awesome. Very cool. So how much do you guys have in your retirement savings already?
I think we're at about $100,000. Last year was a little bit of a hit on everybody's. But,
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to be about a $500,000 net worth already. So you're on your way to being millionaires in no time. Way to go. That's fun. I just said that out loud. Did you hear that? Wow. That's pretty stinking cool, guys. So what starts you on this journey 7 years ago?
So I actually started when we first got married 15 years ago. We just celebrated our 15th year anniversary.
Congratulations.
And so our first year, I'm actually not originally from here, so we knew each other in person from before. And then when I moved here, it was really the first time we did anything together.
Mm-hmm.
And we got married in July of 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And it was,
Great
a great year to get married. So we pretty quickly figured out that, our finances will need some improvement pretty quickly. We had a little bit of debt. I grew up living pretty frugally.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had some arguments. And by the end of that year, we knew we sold the car that he had some debt on.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got a job, we actually paid all of our debt. Our biggest issue was the underwater mortgage for the townhome that was purchased in 2007. So, we were kind of bopping along for a couple of years. Then we had kids, and I ended up staying at home. It was pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
And we were still kind of trying to figure out what are we going to do about the house eventually. This has still not come up to the value that it was. And at some point, we got an email from our church. We go to Woodstock City Church, introducing Financial Peace University.
Mm-hmm.
And in there, I was like, I'm pretty frugal. I keep my budget. After the fact, I kind of tracked of what was spent. But it said it will show you how you can buy and sell a house. So I'm like, why don't we take this class? So when we went and took the class, I was like, where have y'all been before? So we did quite a few things, followed quite a few things. One of them was we immediately refied that house to a 15 so that we could start paying down the what we owed on it. And
from the 7% interest rate
yes.
that I had been paying on
yes.
it since
so
I bought it.
Essentially, our payment stayed the same, but more was going
Yeah,
towards.
so you went down to what, a 3?
It was a 4, around 4 at the
okay.
time. In it was 2013, and so. Yes, 2013. I contacted one of the LPs. We loved her, Lindsay Haas. A shout out to her. She came out because we knew we couldn't sell the house right away. So she showed us what to do. It was just she didn't charge anything for that. So we started over the next couple of years. We started doing some upgrades to the house. Like we painted, we not redid the deck, but we cleaned up the deck and some other stuff. And so when the time came in 2016, we were still kind of figuring out whether we're staying in the area or whatnot. And then our HOA was kind of going down the hill. We decided it was time to put it up for sale. Again, Lindsay helped us through that process. She was a great selling and buying agent. There was several offers on the house that we were looking at to buy. And we had enough equity gotten enough equity out of the house, and we had some savings, or rather, from a sale of an apartment that I had back home. I'm not originally from the U.S., and it was about $20K. So we were able to put 20% down, like you teach. Yes.
So you not only got out of the bad townhome, bad HOA that had been upside down, but you were able to put 20% down on the new deal.
On the new deal.
Way to go.
Yes. So,
and then 7 years later, you paid it off. And now it's
Exactly.
worth $345.
Yes.
You got to feel like a genius.
And we bought 2 cars cash during this time while we were paying this house off.
Yeah. Wow.
Another shout out I wanted to do to Rachel. I remember her talking about how, if you want to, because I wanted to get a change in the career. And so I went and took classes at a smaller college, not a 4-year college, because that we could cash flow at the time. And then now that I work at KSU, I went ahead and finished my bachelor's degree with.
They pay for it.
They pay for it, right? And I'm working on my master's. So quite a few accomplishments along the way.
So how does it feel? I want people who are maybe new to this program going, they paid their house off. That was the debt. What does it feel like to not have a house payment now and then as you look toward the future?
It's sinking in. It's still not really hit us, but there were several people I worked with that were like, oh, you need to not worry about that. You need to buy this and go have fun, and you can worry about that later. You've got time before retirement. And now I've had several guys come up to me, shake my hand, like, we're proud of you. Good job.
That's cool.
They kind of see it can be done now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And Christina, you upped your game on your whole career. That's a nice move.
It's a very nice move. So what was the increase in your pay? Because we looked at the total. You guys went from 60 to 145. How much did you increase?
So that was incremental. I started this full-time job in 2018. I was looking at, numbers, and we actually averaged about 108. My latest promotion was in January to the manager position. That was senior accountant.
So how big of a bump was that for you?
14.
Yeah.
But the previous year I went to senior accountant, which that was about
don't
a
miss
15.
this, folks. She goes and gets the education that she can afford in her budget, and then goes to work for a college, and they give her free to finish her bachelor's.
Exactly.
So there's a path here called common freaking sense. Way to go! I'm so proud of you, heroes.
Thank you.
Excellent job. What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Stick together, talk it through, be in agreement. You won't always see eye to eye on everything, but work through it.
Yeah.
Make sure to get to that point.
Yeah. Every morning, I am the nerd. He's the free spirit in the sense that, I worry about my spreadsheets, but every Sunday we get together, we sit and we just talk, we dream. And so, one of his hugest contributions is he's actually worked overtime for the last 10 years.
Oh, wow.
I mean, 6 days a week, pretty much every week. So there was a lot of, it wasn't easy.
No. How old are you two?
41 today.
Yeah, and you
happy birthday.
Thank you.
And you got a paid for $350,000 house.
And I'm 44.
And you're on your way to being millionaires in no time. Congratulations. We're so proud of you, heroes.
Thank you.
Well done, heroes. All right, bring the kiddos up. Give us their names and ages. And while they're coming up, we've got a Baby Steps Millionaires book for you, a Total Money Makeover book for you, and a Financial Peace University membership for you. You can use them or give them away. That's the Live and Give box. We'll have that for you. Thanks for coming up to do your debt-free scream. So what are their names and ages?
This is Greg. He's 11.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Kira, and she's 10 and a half.
All right. They have no idea yet what their parents have done to change their family tree. Pretty incredible, guys. You guys are awesome. All right. Jared and Christina, Greg and Kira from Woodstock, Georgia. $136,000 paid off in 7 years. House and everything! Making $60 to $145. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
1, 2, 3. We are debt-free.
Yeah! This is how it's done. I love it. She goes back to school at the community college.
Yep.
Ups her game, goes and finishes her bachelor's, ups her game. Well done, guys. And he works overtime like crazy.
That's right.
This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Shiloh's with us in Billings, Montana. Hi, Shiloh. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. What's up?
Okay, so my question is, my husband works for a company that is unionized, and they are potentially going to be striking fairly soon. And my question is, do we hunker down and wait and ride it out, or do we work on paying off our debt still? What's the best solution to do?
It depends on the probability of the strike, and let's talk that through for a second. Okay.
Sure.
How long has he worked for that company?
7 years.
Have they ever been on strike while he worked there?
No, sir.
When was the last time they were on strike?
1997, I think.
No, you do not hunker down.
Okay.
Okay.
So
now, if it gets up closer and it heats up and it heats up and it heats up, and you feel like the probability, the actual facts, not the emotions, the facts of what's going on indicate that you got a 70 or an 80% chance they are going to go out, then stop everything and pile up cash. But right now, what you've got is a bunch of saber rattling. You know what I mean by that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah, the sounds of war, but there's not going to be war.
Okay. Yeah, he is more confident that there won't be a strike than I am. So
yeah, what I'm trying to help you do, and I have to do this myself, and Ken works with people on careers and do the same thing, is we have to separate. Dr. John Deloney talks about this anytime we're facing an anxiety situation, a trauma situation, we have to separate facts from fears. Facts are our friends. What you are doing is worrying. That's what you just told me. And I do that too.
Yes, sir.
I do that too. But when the facts are that there's been 2 meetings and there was a meltdown and the guy stormed out, and the last time that happened there was a strike, well, that's a fact. We're probably going into a strike. But in the meantime, what it is, it's like, I don't like this. They could just put us out and we got no idea. I don't know what's going on. I feel out of control. Well, that's just worrying.
Okay.
Both are normal, but we just have to make good decisions based on all of that.
Yeah, and one of the things you want to look at. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, we have enough in our savings account to pay off all of our consumer debt.
Do it.
So just go ahead and do it, and then we'll be okay.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
You won't have any of those payments if you go on strike. That'd be great.
That's right. And then Shiloh, you and your husband need to be aware, because every union is different, but one of the major potential strikes that's coming down the pike is UPS right now. And in that particular, this is one of the largest union in the country. You need to find out.
That's where he works for is UPS.
Okay, so I actually know a little bit about this story.
Okay,
so
then wait a minute. I may change my answer. So tell me what's going on.
Well, no. Actually, Dave is still right. What we want to do is that has been reported that the union is saying, and this is posturing as well, but your husband's got to know how much am I going to get paid during this strike and for how long, because these unions have money set aside for strikes, Dave. But it is not it's not forever and ever and ever. And so what you have to look at is you have to get the numbers. We could survive. I'll continue to get paid for 3 months if the strike goes beyond. So these are the kind of facts that Dave is talking about. He's right. We pay attention to this and we go, okay, I know that
the
for
market share that UPS would lose to FedEx in 3 months,
it'll never
recover from.
That's right. It'll never happen. But the point is the unions have enough money in a pool. Your husband needs to find out how long would I get paid for. And see, this is the point that Dave is making.
Yeah.
So we could survive. We pay off the debt and we replenish that emergency fund even in a 1 month strike. Because I don't think it goes longer than 30 days.
I don't think it goes. I don't think it ever happens.
These are the facts that you're talking about, Dave. So you got to know.
Okay. I didn't have this other information. This is different.
All right.
That's very good. But now I'm even more sure.
That's right.
Yeah, pay off your debt. Work your system. I'm not saying there's never going to be a strike. I would just say there's a very low
It's not going to last a long time.
Let me just tell you, UPS cannot afford it.
No.
Can't afford it.
FedEx will eat their lunch.
Yeah, they'll be gone.
Yeah, this is posturing.
They would lose the business aspect of that is just mind-boggling. So yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
Very good. And one other point to point out, this is like Dems and Republicans posturing over the debt ceiling. Let me just tell you, it don't matter who they are. I've been around long enough to know they're going to keep extending the debt. So I don't hear that headline, it's going to shut the world down. No, it's not.
The Republicans are going to shut the world down.
They're going to keep extending the debt. This is posturing and negotiation. You know this well. So in this case, nothing to worry about here at all. You're going to be paid at least a month as well. Even the union folks are saying we have about 3 months worth of dues set aside that would pay our members while we're striking. So those are the nuances, but actual facts that help you make this decision.
Massive deal. Wow. I'm going to read on this. I'm really ignorant. Okay, fun.
Hey, that's why you pay me to do it.
And I truly don't like being ignorant, so I don't mind you being smarter than me.
Oh, no, I'm not. I just have to pay attention to work-related issues like this, Yeah.
Morgan's with us. Morgan's in Louisiana. Hi, Morgan. How are you?
I'm great. Hi, Dave.
Hey.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
Yes, sir. So I am kind of in a situation, my husband and I, we have been married almost 3 years in February, and we have our finances separate. I have 3 children, and he has 1 daughter who's in college. And so we're just trying to figure out how to go about combining the finances with the salary I make and his salary and what we owe and expenses in that nature. What steps do you advise us? Where do we begin? It's so many.
How long ago were you divorced?
Oh, gosh, mine was in 15.
Okay. And what was money problems a contributing factor?
No, sir.
Well, how long ago was he divorced?
He was, I believe, 2018.
Mm-hmm. More money problems a contributing factor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So, at some point in your new marriages, you have to be married to the person you are married to now, not the one you used to be married to. Meaning,
yes, sir.
He can't hold her misbehavior with money against you and use that as a reason to not combine finances. That's why I ask those questions. This is typically what causes people to not combine their finances who have been married once. They got trashed the last time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard it's hard to go back. It's hard to go, oh, yes, I'm going to treat, But he really has, as a part of his healing from that other divorce, is his commitment to you and the two of you combining your finances. So tactically what you do is we change our proverbs. We change our pronouns, okay?
Yes.
It's our money, not your money, my money. It's our income. It's our debt. It's our house. It's our grocery bill. There's not a yours and mine. If you don't do this, you lower your probability of building wealth tremendously. All of the data that we have says that people that work together have a much higher probability of becoming wealthy than those who run two separate households like a couple of freaking roommates.
Absolutely, Dave, and that's how we both feel, that we're just like, roommates.
So you just put it in one pile. You have one pile of income at the top of the page. Yours plus his equals our. And then we have our expenses down the page. Our food, our lights, our water, our house, our vacation. We're visiting your mother, and we are paying for that. And whatever it is, right? You got it? It's all the way down the page. And if you guys are paying for his daughter's college, that's our expense because you married her when you married him.
Yes.
Right? Am I off track here?
You are on track, and I'm going to say I, too, am at fault in struggling with the finance of the first marriage.
Yeah.
So we both have been...
Yeah, you got to forgive the person you're married to now because they didn't do anything wrong. It's hard, though, because it's human nature to not put your hand out once a dog bit you, Ouch. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Ken. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host. And we'll be talking about your life, your money, and, of course, your jobs and your careers, which is what Ken talks about every day. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. John starts this hour in Las Vegas. Hey, John, how are you?
Hey, gentlemen. I'm doing well.
Good.
I just have a quick question. It's if I can use a signing bonus to buy a new car.
You can. The question is, should you?
Yes, that's better said.
Okay.
Is this a brand new car or new to you?
New to me, potentially brand new. We'll see.
And what would the payments be?
I'm planning to cash flow it, but my situation, to give a little more background, is I am about to start dental school at the end of this month. However, I'm also married. We have no debt. And I have a full scholarship for dental school, so I won't be paying out of pocket anything for that.
Because you're going into the service.
Correct.
Okay.
Army.
Good. And all of this means you need to buy a car. Why?
So, no, don't need to, but my wife and I are planning to have kids in the near future, and she's wanting a newer car that's more kid-friendly. Right now we have a 2014 Toyota Camry.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with it. It's just, it has 160,000 miles on it. And
so while you're in dental school, what will your income be?
She's a nurse, and so we're currently in Vegas, but we're going to be moving to Boston. So in Boston, her income will probably be around $100,000.
Good. Cool. And do you get any kind of stipend from the military while you're in dental school?
I do. I get about $2,800 a month for 10.5 months a year, and then it's a little bit more. I think it's closer to like $3,600 for the other month and a half.
So you have a household income of $130,000 at that point. How much was the signing bonus?
$20 grand.
Okay. All right.
And it will be taxed.
Yeah. Here's a couple of rules of thumb on vehicles. All things with motors and wheels go down in value. They are the largest thing that we buy that goes down in value. They help us burn money more than anything else we do. We set fire to dollar bills as we buy them and drive them. Me too. I like cars, okay? I like cars with loud mufflers, not batteries, but everybody's got their own thing, right? So here's the thing. In other words, we're not against vehicles or something like that. That's not the point. But if you don't want to have vehicles totaled up that's more than half your annual income. So that would leave you at a $70,000 or so, $65,000 worth of vehicles. We're not doing that. So you're not going to be over that. I'm guessing the other car is worth what? You got 2 cars?
No, we only have 1 car because we're moving to the East Coast.
Okay, so you're going to be fine if you buy 1 car under $65,000 on that rule. You're definitely going to do that. Okay, rule number 2 is you pay cash for whatever you do. So whatever the little hoopty Toyota brings, plus 20 grand is what you could spend max. You have any other money saved?
We have about 40-ish thousand saved and about 18 in a Roth IRA for retirement.
Okay, so you got a little money. You got a little bit of an emergency fund. That's good news. And you got to say 20 minus the taxes because you don't want to get in tax trouble, right? So 20 minus the taxes plus whatever the Toyota brings is what she could buy, what you can buy. And here's the last bit of advice. You guys are young. How old are you?
24.
Okay, so this is old man Dave. You ready? Don't buy a car for a baby that's not even on the way yet. That's an excuse that I wanted a better car. Mm-hmm. It's okay to buy a better car just because I want a better car and I got the money, but don't blame the baby that isn't even on the way. It's not his fault.
Okay.
Yeah, and listen, here's the other thing too. You can buy a nice car, and one baby doesn't need a giant SUV. One baby doesn't need the nicest minivan out there.
Babies
it's a
are
car
small.
seat.
Babies are small.
That car seat will fit fine in that Camry.
They take up a lot of smell room, but they're small.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right.
Oh my gosh, hey, this is a great time for you, man. Congratulations! What a great way to go to dental school.
Yeah.
Instead of being $400,000 in debt, you're serving your country.
Smart.
Thank you for serving your country.
Yes,
it's
sir.
very well done.
Yes, sir.
And you're thinking about what to do with this. You didn't just impulse and drive by the car lot and go buy some bunch of crap you can't afford. You're very thoughtful. You're very wise. You guys are going to be great parents. You're going to do very well. And we're very proud of you, John. Yes. And again, thanks for serving your country.
Yeah.
Very
Stacked
cool
a good amount of cash, too. They've shown some impulse control already.
Yeah.
So that's a good base to but this is natural, Dave. I don't know. You've been around on this. People start freaking out when you think, well, we're going to try having a baby. But here's the reality, and I don't want to be a damper on anyone, but you have no control as to when baby shows up. And so stack cash. This is why you listen to this show, getting information you would get no other way. That's genius.
You have no control when babies come. That comes straight from Ken Coleman.
I know. Hey,
fresh insight, right off the presses.
Well,
nobody knew that.
Hey, Stacy and I struggled with infertility for 7 years. I'm not trying to be a downer. The point is that stacking cash, and then you have time to buy the nice car, the nicer car. And I just think I want young couples to look at the long view because it never hurts to stack cash. By the way,
as soon as you adopted, you got pregnant. Let's just keep that in mind.
That is true.
That's the magic thing right there.
Yeah, well, that comes with its own expenses. So there you go. Careful on that one.
That's
but yeah,
good.
You get the point. Is that we jump to conclusions because of the emotion, the excitement.
Oh, it's exciting. It's fun.
Natural for people to do this.
And you're looking at the crappy car going, I hate this car. And so our little precious little baby needs a nice car. Not.
Wait till they spit up all over it. You know, the first time that new carpet gets all stinky.
The worst ones are the toddlers.
Oh,
they can turn a car into a nuclear waste zone.
Yeah. And by the way, it is my opinion that goldfish, they reproduce. When the kids drop them on the floor of the car, they reproduce. There's like 10% more every time you get in the car.
Cheerios. In one segment we get that babies can't be planned, and goldfish reproduce. We get in one segment we get this gold from you.
Hey, common sense Ken, that's what you can call me. Just dropping the depth today, dropping the bombs.
He's everywhere, ladies and gentlemen.
Watch out.
He's everywhere.
Don't let the common sense sneak up on you.
Check out the podcast. Oh, you got to love it. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. And by the way, we'll just go ahead and add one little extra serious note to that. If you have a car that's worth $8,000 that won't hold the car seats because you got now another car seat or something, go buy something that's worth $8,000, not $28,000, that'll hold the car seats. They make $8,000 used vans too. You can move laterally. You don't have to move up 20 grand just to get bigger. See, that's where we know you're rationalizing. This is the Ramsey Show. It's a competitive home buying market, but there's a way you can get an edge. Churchill Mortgage works with you to understand your budget and your goals. And the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge offers you fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus, Churchill has bumped up their seller guarantee to $10,000, giving your offer the best chance of being accepted and helping you win in today's market. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm your host, Dave Ramsey. Ken Coleman is my co-host today, #1 best-selling author, host of the Ken Coleman Show. Yeah, we hang out in Nashville, in case you guys forgot, and there's always these famous music people drop by and see us. That's not happening today. Instead, an extremely famous comedian from Nashville is dropping by, our friend Nate Bargatze. Hey, Nate, how are you?
Good. How are y'all?
Doing great, man.
Yeah.
Hey, the Amazon special rocked.
Thank you. Yeah, it was great. It's very exciting to be here, Dave. We've, listened to you obviously my whole life. Because my parents would tell me to do stuff that you tell people to do. I wasn't great at it, but they had all the ideas. But I kind of told you at this party, I also moved you when I was 20. Oh, it had been 20 years ago. You were in a house, I think, going to a lake house.
Yeah.
And
we had this little lake house down at Estill Springs.
And so we were moving you, like the company I worked for, we went to your house and moved you. And my one thing, you were very nice, everything was great. I don't remember, you had a TV.
This was back when TVs were big.
Yeah.
Like take two guys to carry one of those.
Yeah, but this TV, I don't remember, it was like, I think what I remember is it wasn't in like a, if you had a big widescreen, but it was a smaller one. But then you go, hey, that TV's pretty heavy. And, I'm 20 and I'm like, I got it, Dave. Don't worry. Like, this is what I do is I move TVs. And I picked it up, and if you kept concrete in that TV, I would believe that. It was the heaviest TV I've ever felt in my life. And then me and my buddy both had to carry it. And I remember it not being so big because our faces were super close to each other because you're just like walking like one side on the other side. But I always think about that TV still to this day.
I'm so glad that Dave Ramsey made an impression.
Still the heaviest TV I've ever felt in my life. And it was.
Did he offer pizza?
It's in your fingers. And
I think people want to know. Pizza, bottle,
I don't
water.
remember if he offered. I think he offered that. My big one was he goes, that TV's heavy. You might need someone to help. And I go, I got it, Dave. Don't worry about me. And then you're like, this is the heaviest TV I've ever felt in my life.
So changing gears, the Amazon special, we watched it the other night. It is excellent. You did an amazing job. The experience had to be so much better than the thing you did during COVID. That was like a root canal, wasn't it? Oh yeah, just outside, everybody had masks on. I couldn't hear them laugh. The first, so when you do shows, if you say you're gonna do an hour, of material or whatever.
that can also depend on the crowd if it's going to be an hour. Like, so if the crowd, if you can't really hear them laugh and you're having to talk faster, it's like that hour becomes 40 minutes, 45, like that much. And if the crowd's laughing great, that hour can be an hour and 15 minutes. And when we did the COVID one, I got done taping and it was at like, I want to say 43 minutes or something. And they were like, right when I got off, they were like, yeah, we do not have it. Because you tape 2 shows when you tape a special. And then you edit them to get, like, usually it's all from one show, but then you have maybe a couple of jokes you said better. And so when I got done, they were like, yeah, that was so short. And I was like, well, I can't hear anybody laughing. You can't tell they had masks on, so you can't even see their face if they're enjoying it. Well, the
B-roll of the audience was just horrendous.
Oh.
I mean, it was painful.
Yeah.
It was painful.
I
mean, as somebody who's also on stage, obviously not a comedian, but also does a lot of speaking and stuff, it was painful to think about what you're experiencing. But this one and the setup, the production values on this latest one, the way the audience was coming around you and the way you were working them, it was really good.
Well, I wanted to, after like this place where I taped this one, the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix, it's one of my favorite venues. Carlin taped a special there, Louis C.K. taped a special there, and it was such a cool, like, you could see the crowd. Carlin's special, you could see the crowd a lot because it was just back, it was like 70 something when he taped it, and so it's just, that's how it was. But I wanted to show a crowd, and I wanted to show people having fun because after COVID and all that stuff, it's like it was like you just wanted the crowd to see, like, look, people are having fun and people are back out and people are doing that stuff. So it was like we kind of lit up the crowd a little bit so you could see them, and that place is the best.
As a pastor's kid, when you started talking about the words that you were allowed to say and not allowed to say, that was absolutely hilarious. Yeah. I've got to ask you this is a money show. We know that a lot of money issues in marriage.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, your own marriage, your wife's role with money, your role with money, like, what's that like for you?
I have no role in it, so it's her. I don't know. I mean, I used to have jokes, like, I was like, if my wife ever died, like, I would, like, I don't know what bank I would go to. Like, I don't know how to get my money out. I'd have to call her mom and ask her to be like, what is your maiden name? I wouldn't know. I mean, I'm disconnected. When you grow up, we didn't have money, like, and so even though I know is the pressure on my parents for raising us and saving money and doing all that stuff, I was just, fortunately, I guess, kind of oblivious. I never really thought about it. And I kind of went in that with comedy. And so money, like, I've just never thought about it so much. It's just kind of like you're doing what you're doing. Like in comedy, I would always have little check marks where I could realize, I worked at Applebee's. I met my wife at Applebee's on Thompson Lane, and we worked there together. And so
flair.
The flair. Yeah, all the flair. So I remember in comedy when I got to a point where I was making just as much as I'd be making at Applebee's, and someone that didn't go to college or anything, I was like, all right, like I'm making as much as I would make as $30,000 a year, whatever it is. And then you slowly just have little check marks where you can just be like, all right, I'm making this. Like, I wouldn't make more than this at whatever job I have. But my wife is the one that does all of it.
How's it feel when someone says Grammy nominated?
It's crazy. It's one that you never, because you're like, why would I get any of this stuff? Like, as you say, better than I deserve. It's you don't think I don't deserve any of this stuff. And so and being just from here in Old Hickory and, who am I? Like, I'm nobody. So it's all wild and it's hard to like take in. But it's stuff I did want, you have your goal, you want to.
Yeah, you want to win.
When you think about it, you do want to be as big as you can be. But it's, when it happens, it's pretty surreal.
How many years were you at the trade before things really started to move for you?
I've done it 20 years, and so I was at it. It's all gradually. I always say you either make it at 20 or 40, and no one makes it in the middle. So you either get lucky and get plucked, or you have to go grind it out. And so it was all kind of gradually, always just kind of moving up. And I would say after the Netflix special, The Tennessee Kid, the stand-ups in The Tennessee Kid was when it really we took a pretty big leap to where you go to theaters and people are there to see you. Like, they know, you know, you got to have new material. You got to have all this stuff. Like, they're there to absolutely see you. But I still get amazed by it every day. I was just at the American Century golf tournament, and like, just the autographs and the fact that people know who you are, and you're taking all these pictures. I mean, it's pretty insane.
Were you on the course when Steph hit the hole in one?
I was 2 holes over.
So you heard it.
It was, yeah. And so we didn't know who did it, but the roar was so loud that you're like, all right, well, someone's got, that has to be a hole in one. And then it's so loud and long, then you're like, well, I don't know who it is. And then someone radios over, like one of the volunteers, and they're like, it was Steph Curry. And you're like, well, I mean, that couldn't have worked out better for NBC and all that. It was a very cool thing to see and to hear it, just the roar.
Yeah, wow. Nate Bargatze, Grammy-nominated comedian, a neighbor of ours here in Nashville, dropping by to hang out. Be sure and check out his new special on Amazon, Hello World. And, of course, he's on tour right now. And how many cities you doing?
Oh, it's all of them, I think. We go, I'm leaving to Australia this Saturday.
Oh, that'll
help. So be in Australia,
yeah.
Never been out there.
Doing it with... doing the show with a little jet lag.
Oh, yeah. I think we have a couple days. You lose 2 days when you go out there.
Yeah, I know.
Never knew that.
Tickets at natebargatze.com.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
And social at Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
Thanks for dropping by, man.
Absolutely. Thanks
Congratulations
for having me.
on all your success. Couldn't happen to a better guy.
Honor, man. Honor to be here. We always loved you, and so it's very cool to be here.
We're honored. Hey, Nate Bargatze, check it out. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 45% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Aaron is with us in Colorado Springs. Hey, Aaron, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you.
Sure, what's up?
So my husband and I are on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and I feel like we've been doing the Ramsey plan forever, and we're both ready to be done with the mortgage. So we've been trying to come up with ways to pay it off, and it just seems like it's going to take longer. We want to be done in 3 years by the time we turn 40. And it's just,
how long is forever that you've been working on this?
Well, we've been doing it about 15 years, but 5 of those we were overseas. So, we kind of had to stop. We bought a house, we sold that, we moved overseas, and while we were overseas, our housing was paid. So we saved up money And we moved back right in 2020, and the housing prices had gone crazy, and the money we saved, we thought we could pay cash for a house. We ended up having to take out a mortgage. And now we've got $120,000 left, and we're
What's your household
family
income?
And $120,000.
Okay, and you're going to be done in 3 years, and you're how old?
We want to be done in 3 years. We're 36.
Okay, and before you're 40. Okay, I get it. Okay, so what's the question then?
So we've run the numbers, and we've already been putting about 50% of our take-home pay towards the house. But with all the other baby steps and just life, we still need about 20 grand more a year to be able to reach that goal. And so we've talked about either stopping doing fun things, which I know isn't what is meant to happen in baby step 4, 5, and 6, or my husband has to take a second job, or I work more, and all of those options are they're hard. And so we thought, well, do we change the goal? I mean, how intense do we need to be in this step? Because for me, I want to be done tomorrow, but I also understand for 3 years, we shouldn't be, running like gazelle intense. So how do you balance that?
So $20,000 more per year. That's the number that gets it done in 3 years?
In 3 years, yeah.
So why does that have to be so incredibly hard? It's not necessary. You guys are doing great. But if you really break it down to how do we, the two of us, come up with an additional $20,000 a year without making life absolutely too difficult. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what you got to figure out. It doesn't require such a drastic choice. And it feels like the way you're setting it up to us, it feels really big and heavy. And I'm not sure it needs to be big and heavy. I think it's a good goal to go for, but it could also be managed. $20,000, not that much.
All of your projections assume no raises too.
Yeah, but the raises haven't been, the projection for that isn't fabulous.
Why? Why?
So, just because of my husband works in a ministry, so over time the raises haven't been great.
That's fair.
I mean, they're good.
That's fair.
They pay good, and it's a great job. But
what do you do?
More, I homeschool my kids and stay home. I do a little side work, making a couple $1,000 a year, and we've talked about me working more, but our focus right now is our kids, and the home needs to be peaceful environment, and that allows my husband to do his work. And if I'm busy and stressed, then that just kind of, I think, breaks down a lot of that. So I feel like my time is maxed out really at this point.
Okay. I would, without the level of pressure that you're putting on yourself, I would move from, I would not move too intense. I would stay at intentional, and I would dial back the pressure. These are really good goals. They are not worth, or not, that's not the right word. You can be intentional and get there almost as fast as you get there if you worry and fret and wring your hands over it. So if you don't get there in 3 years and it takes 4, oh, well, you're still very weird in such a good way. You've done such a great job. Yes. You'll be 41 with a paid-for house, for goodness sakes. And your husband's in ministry. Oh, my goodness. How wonderful are you guys? So give yourself a little grace. Hey, there's a word. And, just give yourself a little bit of breathing room here. And then just make it a game. And it's a Monopoly game, and we want to lean into it. But the level of pressure that I hear in your voice, I don't want that for you. Or for your husband. I want you guys to just enjoy your run and just enjoy this ride.
I think that I'm done. I'm done owing people money. I want all our money coming in.
I completely agree with you. And so I'd make it a matter of prayer. God, send us some extra money because we want to be done with this. We don't want any masters in our life but you. And just begin to pray that each morning. And then, with that prayer, let's look at what we can do. I mean, can you pick up a little tutoring? Is there a thing over here you guys can turn down a little bit? And Ken's right. You might find the other $20,000 as you go along here. And then, even then, if you're 41 and you're debt-free, you are so far ahead of the game in America today. You're so far over in the smart column. When we look up wise in the dictionary, we're going to see your picture. Oh, my gosh, you're doing great. Breathe a little. I'm with you. I'm done owing money. I'm never going back, and I can get fired up about that. I can get wired up about that, and there's no chance I'm going to do it. And if I were in your shoes, I'd want to be out just as bad as you want to be out, but not enough to completely destroy our lives for the next 3 years. Gazelle intensity of that level is necessary when you're in baby step 2. It is not what you should be doing in baby steps 4, 5, and 6. You should be intentional, not intense. And there is a difference. Intentional is I'm an adult and I make every dollar behave. I'm not an immature child throwing a fit and says I deserve it because I work so hard. You're not having any of those stupid conversations, and you're not that person. You're doing good. I think you're doing good. You're doing so much better than you feel like you're doing. We think you're better than you think you are.
Yeah, I think that's right, Dave. And I love the intentional here because, listen, she's homeschooling multiple kids. That 3 years is going to go by pretty quick. So enjoy the season that you're in. Be blessed because you've done the hard work to be in this moment.
Joshua's in Dallas. Hey, Joshua, what's up?
Hey, Dave, I have a quick question for you. I am almost done with baby step 3 and then just got divorced.
Oh,
so
my.
I have a second mortgage on this house, and I'm trying to figure out, am I treating it like the first one and sticking to step 3, or do I treat it like debt and I'm technically back to step 2?
If it's under half your annual income, it's a baby step 2.
Let's see.
How much do you owe? How much do you owe on the second?
45.
And what's your household? What's your income?
About 81.
That's right on the bubble. Okay. I would throw it to baby step 6. And what's your interest rate on your first mortgage?
It's only like 3.125.
Yeah. Well, make sure you've got really good terms on this, and let's get it. Yeah.
Because it's only a 10-year.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be. I don't want you being in debt on either one of them for 10 years. I want to go ahead and clear them.
Right.
But
exactly.
Yeah, you don't have anything else to do. You might as well just lean in on it, but you don't have to lean in. Lean in on it with intentionality. When you're paying extra on a mortgage right now, it's on that. It's not the first.
Right.
And so any money you scrape together in your budget beyond 15% going into retirement after baby steps 4 baby step 6 is going to go on the mortgage. And in your situation today, you're probably you just have to manage you now, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, in that sense, your expenses went down, or can if you choose for them to. You don't have to convince anybody to do this, but you. And so whatever you choose to do, however fast you want to clear that. So it's going to end up, other than the fact you're putting money into retirement, it's going to end up having the same effect as being in baby step 2 if I'm in your shoes. I'm just going to attack it. But go at it at whatever speed you want there. But I'm going to put it at baby step 6. It's over half your annual income. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Deborah is with us in Los Angeles. Hi, Deborah. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thanks so much. I've been listening to you guys for years and appreciate all you do.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. I have a question for you. I've been listening for a long time, and yesterday I went into to adjust my own investments because we've been focused on other things. I wanted to get everything set up in the 4 different types of mutual funds you mentioned. And the guy who is not a Ramsey certified financial pro. But he mentioned a term that I'd never heard before. When I brought up mutual funds, he asked me if I'd considered ETFs. And I have no idea, or I hadn't heard what that was. He explained it to me, and it sounds very similar to a mutual fund. So I was just wondering if you could clarify what the difference is and why a mutual fund is better than an ETF.
I don't know that a mutual fund is better than an ETF. ETF just means exchange-traded fund, and for purposes you would use it for, they're very, very similar. They're almost identical. It's a group of a group of stocks, and if you're buying an exchange, typically what people will do for an ETF is something like an index fund, like an S&P 500. And so it'd just be a group of stocks in there. Now, sometimes brokers will try to get you to buy and sell in your portfolio a lot, and they like an exchange-traded fund for that better. And so if you're setting it up to do, like you'd set up a brokerage account to buy and sell stocks in, I would not use it for that. But if you're using it like a mutual fund just to buy and hold, you're going to find it's almost identical, that you're not going to notice any difference in the practical use of it. So sometimes I hear things like, well, Dave Ramsey's against ETFs. I'm not against ETFs. I don't mind. What I want you to have is a diversified portfolio. Mutual funds, ETF, is either one of those will give it to you. What I don't want you to do with an ETF is start buying and selling all the time. And I don't want you to use any vehicle of investing that prompts you to constantly be jumping in and out, jumping in and out, jumping in and out. Because every time the news is good, by the time the news is good on the stock market, you're late. You should have already been in. By the time the news is bad, it's already too late for you to get out. And so people that try to jump in and out based on the news, and you're not saying that, Deborah, I'm just saying, but in general, if you're trying to use an ETF to time the market, we call it, then that use is not something that, that we would tell people to do ever. Because I don't time the market. I just buy and hold. I never sell it. I just buy and keep it. And, the stock market went down. Yeah, I know. Stock market went up. Yeah, I know. And if I just sit there, then I'm fine. And so, but for your purposes, Deborah, I think he's fine as long as you're going to stick with it, and as long as he's not, your planner is not recommending the ETF for purposes of timing the market or buying and selling or constantly trading on your funds. I don't be trading on my funds all the time. I buy them and hold them. The only time I sell a fund is if it's just completely underperforming its category over a long period of time. And I don't remember the last time I sold one. It's been a long, long time, because I play long ball all the time, play long ball. I'm always thinking, what's this going to be 10 years from now? What's it going to be 20 years from now? Not 10 days from now, not 10 months from now. The emotions don't drive it. And again, Deborah, you're not being accused of any of that, but I'm trying to couch my ETF answer here so I don't get misunderstood again, because I'm not anti-ETF. I'm anti-timing. And I'm anti-constantly trading.
Because it's effectively gambling. If you try to play the market, you can really get burned quickly.
You're no longer investing, you're speculating.
That's correct, yep.
And you are, from a statistical standpoint, not a spiritual standpoint, you are gambling.
Right.
And so, and sometimes I hear people say in the Christian world that I'm in, they'll say stuff like, well, all stock market is gambling and you shouldn't be doing that. Well, you don't understand what gambling is. Gambling is based on it's a game of chance.
Right. Yep.
Meaning you don't have any control or any insight.
That's right.
Over the output.
That's right.
Investing is you buy a piece of real estate. Why? Because real estate's always gone up, and real estate in that neighborhood's a great neighborhood. It's got nice trees, and it's going to be good, and whatever, or if you're in Arizona, nice cactuses or whatever it is, right? And so, but we have actual outputs that we're measuring, and we can look at the probabilities, and it's not just a deck of cards.
That's right.
It's not a slot machine.
Yep.
There's a complete difference, and there's a difference in the spirit by which you go at those things. So none of that has to do with Deborah, but Deborah, thanks for the question. Jessica's with us in Madison, Wisconsin. Hi, Jessica. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Great. How can we help?
So my question is, I had received some money when my dad passed away. We used that money to pay off vehicles and use it as a down payment on our house. And all we had for debt then was a mortgage. Since then, we've bought a tractor and built a barn. We were told to just let the money ride in the market. We were never going to touch it. That was retirement money. As I've been listening to your show the last couple of weeks, I'm wondering if that was the best advice we were given, and if we should pull the money from, the stocks and pay off our debt. And then
and then you need to quit buying crap you can't afford, like barns and tractors.
It's stuff needed for our business.
Oh, bull.
We bought one tractor.
You're buying stuff you can't afford. Okay? You know how I know you did that? You borrowed on it instead of paying for it. If it was such a dadgum good investment, you would have already used Daddy's stock money on that. Hello?
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah.
My question is, do we pull the money from the stocks and...
No, you don't, unless you're going to quit borrowing money on the next thing that you rationalize and justify. But if you're stopped rationalizing and justifying your purchases on debt, because you're going to eventually run out of this if you keep this behavior pattern going. But if you stop the behavior pattern and say, I'm never borrowing again, we're going to pay cash for everything we do from this point forward, then yes, we did this. But the last time you paid off all your debts, what'd you do? The next thing that came up, you went back in debt. And so if I tell you to pay off this debt, next thing that comes up, you're going to go back in debt. I don't want that for you. That's not a method to prosperity. That's a method to bankruptcy. And so you've got to put you got to spit, shake, and pinky swear with your husband. We're not borrowing money anymore. If you're going to do that, then yeah, take the money out and pay off the debt. But otherwise, you're destined to live a life of put and take. We're going to pay it off, then we're going to go back in debt. We're going to pay it off, then we're going to go back in debt. And eventually, we don't have any money to pay it off. Eventually, you run out of the nest egg doing that. So you've got to break this pattern. And you were very clear. We used some of the money, cleared off all the debt. How did we celebrate? We bought a tractor and a barn and went back in debt. You've got to break that cycle. You can't do that again and again and again. There's an end to it, and the end ain't pretty. So that's what I want for you. And there's no rationalization, no justification. You got to be done. You got to be done. You got to decide. We're done. It's an investment. It's always an investment. Everybody says everything's an investment that they want to buy, but most things aren't.
Yeah, and this is a key point about
Tractors
behavior.
aren't investments.
Or the barn. So what happens is when you feel the need to have something, you have to go, okay, what's the least amount of thing that I need to do what I want to do? Could we have done a shed that we could have paid cash for? What's behind these purchases? Not prospective opportunities. I'm going to need this barn one day. If we don't need the barn now, then we don't need to buy the barn now. And I think that's where people have got to start looking at this and going, wait a second, what do I really need? Do I need a big tractor, or do I need an old used tractor that'll do the job? And that's what people have to do, or else you justify debt.
Almost every one of us buy a different thing when we buy it with debt than if we had bought it with cash.
I agree with that 100%.
Almost every one of us.
Yeah.
And you buy a bigger, badder, cooler.
That's correct.
Crazier.
Yeah.
Nuttier.
Yeah.
Dumber.
Right.
Thing.
You got to find a way to do it.
Because it doesn't feel like it's real money when it's the bank's money.
That's absolutely right.
And that's the trap of this. It's a siren song.
Yeah.
And you'll crash this puppy on the rocks, and that's what the sirens do to you. Look it up. This is the Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios. It's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Ken Coleman, Ramsey personality, host of the Ken Coleman Show, #1 best-selling author on the subjects of work, job, and career. We're here to answer your questions about life and money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Ken will be my co-host for the day. Irene is in McAllen, Texas, starting this hour. Hi, Irene. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing really good. How are you guys?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
So my main question is, should I sell my rental property? We became, as y'all call it, landlords by default. And I'm not sure if we should sell it. Where we are right now, we're in baby step 2 with about $5,000 to go on our credit card. And we do also have a car loan that we're paying off with our LLC. So I don't know. I'm sure that's also part of baby step 2.
Doesn't matter. Your LLC is not liable. You are. No matter how you're paying it. You signed the note personally.
Right.
It's personal debt. So it is baby step 2. So what do you owe on the rental?
Okay. It's paid off.
Okay. What's it worth?
It would go for about $160 to $170 right now.
Cool. And your personal residence, is it paid off?
It's not paid off. We bought it 2 years ago. We still owe about $183.
Okay. And what's your household income?
$75,000.
Okay. I would rather have a paid-off house than a paid-off rental. My personal home.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. So my, I guess, issue, or not issue, but doubt is we've never really been gazelle intense, and I'm feeling kind of like using this rental property would kind of be like an easy way out. We did just start following the baby steps in January, and we've been able to pay off $13,000 in debt since then. So we are, going through the baby steps, but I just am feeling a little bit weird about kind of, I don't know, I feel like I'm cheating by using that rental property.
Well, you're not cheating if you've changed your habits permanently. If you pay off all this stuff and then you go back to the same stupid habits you used to do, then yeah, that was cheating and it didn't have the positive effect, right? But there's there's no data that says getting out of debt easy is a bad way to get out of debt.
Okay.
I just wonder if that's a really logical excuse for holding on to the rental.
Not really. I'm really not in love with this rental. It's in a great location, but it's a little older, and it's kind of become, not so passive. We're constantly having to fix things and go out there. So, I'm not attached to it.
Then I would sell it and get over the guilt of fast forwarding.
But here's the thing. The two of you have to look at each other and say, if we're going to do this, then we've got to do the whole thing. Not just the sell the rental and get out of debt thing. We've got to live on a budget. We have to live on less than we make. We save up and pay for things from this point forward. We keep an emergency fund. We're going to finish paying off our house as soon as possible, because this doesn't quite. By the time you clear the car and the credit card, you don't have enough to clear the house. And so you're going to have to lean in and get the house paid off as soon as possible. It's not going to be paid for. So you're not done. You've got to play all the way through. But you can't commit to just doing parts of what we are telling you to do, or parts of what we teach around here. That could actually be harmful to you. Not really, but it's ineffective. And then you say stuff like, well, that Dave Ramsey stuff doesn't work, and that's not true. You just didn't do it right. So it does work if you do it. So you got to do the whole thing, though. You can't pick and choose. It's not a la carte. We're not at a buffet line. You do the whole puppy. This is chef's tasting menu. You get every course all the way through. That if you do that, Amanda, Irene, you're going to be just fine. Amanda is who we're talking to next. She's in Lexington. Hi, Amanda. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I recently got remarried, and me and my new husband, we are doing the Financial Peace University, and we're on baby step 2. I was in a previous marriage before, and I have a 12-year-old son from my previous marriage, and his father, he never paid child support, but he actually passed away about 1.5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And he draws Social Security money from him, from his deceased father.
Right.
So before I got married, I was a single mom, and I had saved like $6,000 of it, which I ended up spending $4,000 of it for braces this week for my son. So he's got $2,000 left in his savings account, and then he gets $900 a month. So my question is, should I invest that for my son, put it towards a debt snowball, or I'm just not sure what would be the smartest way, because I haven't really been smart with my money, but me and my new husband, like, we're on track we're on your plan. So we want to make sure we're doing everything we're supposed to do.
Good. Okay. Well, let's be clear. I've raised 3 kids, and you're obviously raising kids. You can't raise a kid for $900 a month. It costs more. It costs more than that.
Mm-hmm.
In the scope, in the whole scope of their life, it costs more than that. And this money, morally, not legally, but morally, should be used for the care of the child. If you're taking care of the child, you're spending more than that. So if you blend the money in with your whole budget, as long as you take care of the kid and all of his needs and expenses, then you've done nothing wrong. I would blend it into your budget.
Okay. Should I go ahead, because we haven't started him a college fund yet, so should I go ahead and get that started, though, like right now, with, go ahead and do that, or wait till we get to that baby step?
How do I get to that baby step? And I would blend this money into your budget. Again, this money, there is no moral or legal reason to separate this money off and set it aside for him while you owe on the, you set $900 aside over here and you spend $1,400 over here.
Right.
And that didn't accomplish anything. And so you're going to take care of your child. If you're going to take care of your child and you're not, using his money to snort cocaine or something, then, as long as you take care of your child, that's the point. And it's going to cost you more than you get in child support or in Social Security payments. And so we always blend child support and we always blend Social Security payments into the budget. It's part of the household income. And then the household is under the responsibility morally, ethically, spiritually to take care of the child. And that includes someday they go to college, and that's going to be at great expense to you, much greater expense than the money the government gave you, including raising him, including putting braces and so on. So I just make it all in one pile. And I'm assuming when we do that you're a great mom and you're going to take care of your baby. And as long as you're doing that, then that's a great piece of advice. And that's what I would do. Good question. Thank you for joining us. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. The Ramsey Show question of the day is brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. Neighborly is the place to find reliable help for your home from trusted, locally owned businesses like Glassdoor, Precision Garage Door Service, and Mr. Handyman. Visit neighborly.com, great company, today to find some home experts available to serve you.
Today's question comes from Brad in Idaho. Why are teachers consistently in the group of people that become millionaires? I'm going to add to this question. He's referring to the Ramsey Solutions study, the largest group of millionaires ever done, over 10,000, and they were in the top 5 school teachers of net worth millionaires. That's what he's referring to. He goes on to say, is it because they marry well and have a spouse with a better income, or is there another reason? Are there other career fields I should look into that consistently make it into the millionaire club? I can't wait for Dave's take on this. I'll tell you one thing that I believe is absolutely a reason that teachers are in that group is because they are missional. They care deeply about their role. We also found in that same study that 96% of net worth millionaires love their work. And in the teacher case, they're very dedicated to be instructors. They care deeply about serving kids. And they've chosen work that is meaningful to them. And thus, they've decided that what they make is enough. And they've made the choices to live on less than they make and choose a lifestyle that actually supports their work, not the other way around. And I think it's about deep meaning and purpose, and thus they've been disciplined, and they're very methodical. And I think that's a part that plays too. Dave, what would you add to that, or does that square with you? I think that's true of any occupation.
When we got the data in, it was interesting to us. The top 5 career fields of the millionaires in the largest study of millionaires ever done in North America. Number 1 was engineer. Number 2 was accountant. Number 3 was teacher. Number 4 was business professional, which can mean almost anything. And number 5 was lawyer. Medical doctor didn't even make the top 5. They're number 6. And they are stereotypically worse with money than music artists. I mean, it's ridiculous. And so not all, in other words, not all of them, but I'm saying the stereotype is there for a reason. So what we figured out is that, okay, why do these 5 land there? And even when we look at further down the list, why do some of these, what do they have in common? And what it does disprove is that your income causes you to become a millionaire. Because 1/3 of the millionaires that we studied, 33% of them, never made over $100,000. So it's not your income. In other words, you can't earn your way out of stupidity. So what does an engineer, an accountant, a lawyer, a business professional, teacher have in common? And I think you hit it on the head when you said method. They are systems people. They work with a set of principles, and they don't have free rein to make up their own rules. When you're a lawyer and you go before the judge, you have to follow exact procedures, even exact ways of addressing the court. If it pleases the court, Your Honor. You don't talk to humans out the gas station that way. It's a set of procedures that you use. There's a proper set of motions and you don't have a choice. You don't get to, well, I'm creative. You're, old man in the robe. You don't get to say that. Okay. You get to say, if it pleases the court, Your Honor. I mean, you don't have a choice in this. You don't have a choice when you're an engineer designing a bridge. There's basically one way. Otherwise it falls.
Yep.
And accountants don't say, well, this is creative. They call that embezzlement.
Right.
It's like, right? And so accounting is a set of generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP, the process of doing accounting. There's one process, and you submit yourself to proven principles and methods to be successful in any of those careers, and money works exactly the same way.
Right.
You have to submit yourself to a set of proven principles. You live on less than you make. You're generous. You invest. You have a written plan. You're in agreement with your spouse. These are set principles that you don't get to be creative. Well, I don't think it works. Yeah, I don't agree. Who gives a crap if you agree? This is the way the bridge is built.
Yeah.
This is the way that you do a lesson plan if you're a teacher.
Right.
This is the proper methodology for instructing. It is so structured.
Yeah.
And so they're used to functioning in a structured environment and submitting themselves to proven structured processes, which money and wealth building are.
Right.
And that's what the correlation was. It took us a little while to figure it out.
And let's also understand that they have to be intentional to win with their income because they can't rely on big increases in income.
No, but
there
again,
are no bonuses.
1/3 of the millionaires never made over $100,000.
That's
We need
right.
to keep that in mind. And but Brad, let me address one other thing. Are there other career fields I should look into that consistently make it to the Millionaire Club? No.
That's right.
Do not pick your field because you think it's going to make you rich.
Yeah.
Never do that. But are there processes that you can submit yourself to?
Yes.
That will get you into the Millionaire Club? Absolutely. There are. But you don't pick your career field because what you'll be is a miserable human being with a big income.
Yeah.
If you pick I'm doing this just for the money. Money wears off, man. You eat enough lobster, it tastes like soap.
So true.
There's only so much money will do. And so you don't pick your...
No.
It's like you don't pick your wife based on the net worth of her father. That's a bad way of doing it. You're going to get yourself in a mess, man.
That won't turn out well.
No, it's going to go poorly. So, yeah, you pick your career field based on
purpose and meaning, and can you actually do it? And so what you've got is, again, with teachers or any accountant, they enjoy process. Accountants enjoy process, and they're talented at it. Teachers enjoy instruction. They're good at it. That's the mix. And then you choose to make your money work. That's what I love. By the way, in case, so we got a lot of new people joining all the time. We love this. We're here. We're growing like crazy all over the place. Podcasts, YouTube, everywhere. Here's the thing. The median salary right now for teachers in the United States is about $61,000. You need to understand, net worth millionaires at that level, it can be done. And there's this generation that's watching too many TikTok videos and Instagram videos, Dave, where it says you've got to make millions of dollars a year to be wealthy. And it's just simply not true.
You can't out-earn your stupidity.
That's a fact.
I've tried it. Didn't work. You just got to not be stupid.
Yeah.
And so you can't make enough money to be stupid. It won't work. You'll lose it. I know. I did it. I did it with zeros on the end. I know what it looks like. I know exactly how it feels. I know what every bit of that experience. No, thank you. I don't want to do it again. So, this is what you need to dial in on. Do something that you love and find a way to do it in an unusual way.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
If you're a teacher, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a classroom teacher. There's a lot of ways to be a teacher. And a lot of things you can do. I have a gift of teaching.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm a teacher.
You teach financial principles in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You've done it on 60 Minutes, and you've done it in 600 stations for years, and then you've done it in front of hundreds of thousands of people. And that's a very good point. If I love instructing, I'm not limited to a public school classroom. But that is also a wonderful place to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not the only definition of a teacher.
That's correct.
So now again, for purposes of that study, these were probably classroom teachers.
Yeah, that's what we talk a lot about. Sure.
Yeah, but I don't think someone identifies in a survey of millionaires that they are a teacher if they're on the radio. That's probably not what they're.
That's right.
Probably not what they're doing, right? So, that's not the plan. So that's a really good question. Don't pick your career based on how much money you can make only. It should be a consideration.
Mm-hmm.
But don't pick it based on that only and go, I'm going to make a lot of money and that'll make me happy while I'm doing stuff every day that I hate doing.
Yeah.
No, that won't work. But also don't pick a career that says, this is going to make me happy and it's okay if I'm broke. That's not necessarily either.
No.
You should make more money if you're doing something you love because you're good at it, because you care about it, because you're creative, because you've got energy. You should make more money, not less.
Yeah.
So that's the way to get at it. Good question. Thank you for joining us. This is The Ramsey Show. Ken Coleman, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Paulo and Elizabeth are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. We didn't know we'd be following Nate Bergazzi, so a little intimidated now.
You never know around here, brother. Hey, good to have you. Thanks for coming by. So where do you guys live?
Toronto, Canada.
Oh, it's a bit of a trip to Nashville. Well, good to have you. And how much debt have you paid off?
$624,000.
Yay! I love it. And how long did this take?
38 months.
Whoa! And your range of income during this time?
Ranged between $290,000 to $310,000.
Okay. Wow. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm in commercial real estate leasing.
Mm-hmm.
And I work for the government of Canada. I'm also a gemologist. So during the pandemic, I opened up an online Etsy store where I sold vintage and antique jewelry.
Ooh.
My side hustle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice side hustle. Very good. So what kind of debt was the $624,000?
420 of it was our primary home, and 204,000 of it was a piece of investment real estate we had.
Ah, 2 pieces of real estate. So you're all the way in Toronto, Canada. How in the world do you find out about this Ramsey stuff, and how do you make the decision, touch over 3 years ago, you're going to go wild and knock all of this out?
I've always been the nerd when it comes to the budget. So one day he comes home and he said, "Have you ever heard of this Dave Ramsey guy?" And he said that he's an American from Tennessee, and he really gives it straight to his callers in terms of financial advice. So I checked out your YouTube, I checked out the podcasts, and then I realized we weren't doing everything that we could to become millionaires. So one of the things that you'd always said is get onto an everyday or every dollar budget, because that's one of the primary ways of becoming on the same page. So I approached him and I asked him, "Hey, let's do this. Let's do the advice that Dave Ramsey gives." I had supporting YouTube videos just in case he had any questions, and he was on board right away. So
She was a little nervous that I'd say no.
Well, you brought up the idea, though.
Yeah.
I know. But I mean, she asked, and one of the things I want to put out there for all the couples that are always saying, about, combining finances. She was worried about asking me, and the minute she asked me, I said, well, sure, why not? And I think that should be everybody's reflexes. If you give it at least 3-6 months, you'll see the results. Yes, there'll be budget fights at the beginning, but eventually the proof is there. And what's the worst case scenario? You can go back to the way you were doing things if it was so good.
Oh.
So I got to know, I want you to break this down for our audience, because you're making between $290 and $310. You're paying roughly $200,000 of debt per year, if I'm reading this right.
So
how did you do that?
We were doing about $100,000 a year of paying off debt. What happened towards the end is we sold off the investment property. So I owned half of it with my sister and my family's back home in Montreal, which is about 300 miles away. And, Dave brings up the concept of, one, if it's too far, and two, the whole concept about owning real estate with family. And we had the conversation. I said, you know what? We haven't had any of the problems that we hear some of your callers call in with, owning rental real estate with family, and we wouldn't do it again because it was so far away. So we said, you know what? I think it's time to sell it. And so that just turbocharged our way to the end.
Oh, yeah. Great. Blew it up for sure. Yeah, very cool. So you brought the idea to her. Have you ever heard of this Dave Ramsey guy? Where did you hear about us?
So I found you on YouTube.
Okay, same thing.
And I love the Southern twang, I have to admit.
Yeah.
And
it's my greatest attribute.
I know. It's
has
charming.
Nothing to do with intelligence, wisdom, anything else. It's just the twang. The twang sells you. Yeah. Good for you, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. How's it feel to be 100% free with this huge income?
It's amazing. It's absolutely liberating.
Dave, you use the visual of chains to the debt. And when you say, how does it feel? I think that is the proper visual to give people during your teachings, because you really feel unshackled from it. Words can't describe how good it really feels.
Wow. I got to ask then, that was beautiful. What does it mean? You've heard Dave say, I'm sure you watched enough, live and give like no one else. After you live like no one else. The baby steps allow you to do that. So what does that look like for you? What does it live
What's
and
your
give?
next big thing? Yeah.
Well, in terms of next big thing, we've been driving 9-year-old cars that have about 150,000 miles on it.
Yeah,
so
you need a car.
I'm a car guy.
There we
I've
go.
been very patient.
You have been.
Yes, he has.
My patience needs to persist a little bit longer.
What are we getting? People want to know. What are you going to get?
Oh,
Something that's new to us, but not new.
Oh, he knows. Look at when he turns sideways.
I like the Jaguar F-Type. I know Dave has had his Jaguar car.
There you go.
That is a great car.
The sound of that car is just.
That car it's a wonderful car.
Yeah.
It was designed by the guy who designed the Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. Yeah, well done.
loves
Good,
the
I
sound
like
of
it.
it.
Do it. They're a little hard to find though. I'll tell you ahead of time. Yeah, but they're and I've had 2 or 3 friends that have had them. They're wonderful.
That's awesome.
Good for you, man. Way to go, you guys. That's good stuff. All right, now when people are listening, I know you had an unusual income, but you had an unusually high result also. So, ratio-wise, you pounded this thing. What do you tell people the secret to getting out of debt is?
For myself, I would say you really need to be focused and you need to be on the same page with your partner. The clarity is key.
I think for me, it's the budget. I always used to say that my budget puts the fun into my funds, and I think that's the intentionality that you need. It allowed us to become everyday millionaires. It allowed us to really laser in on what our focus was.
So what's your net worth now?
$1.8 million.
Baby steps millionaires, debt-free, house and everything. Yeah, this is a ding-ding. Well done, heroes. How long you guys been married?
13 years.
13 years.
And the last 3 years we've been working on getting out of debt.
It was
so
tough.
10 years otherwise, and now you're done. And here we go. Complete change. Way to go. Very cool. And all because of some guy with a southern twang.
Yeah, on the YouTube.
On the YouTube. Yeah, that's it. That's where it is for sure.
Isn't that crazy?
This is where it all happens.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah, congratulations, you guys. Hey, we've got the Live and Give bundle for you, the Baby Steps Millionaires book. You already are one. The Total Money Makeover book. You've already done it. And the Financial Peace University. Go through it or give it to somebody on all of those things. That's what the book box is for. We want to say thank you for coming down here. So proud of y'all. You're fun to talk to. You're great people. Your numbers are horrendously awesome. Absolutely amazing. Very, very, very well done. Very good stuff. All right, it's Paulo and Elizabeth, Toronto, Canada. Get this, $624,000 in 38 months, making $290 to $310, house and everything. Baby steps, 1.8 millionaires. Gotta love it. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
I love it. That is fabulous. Man, way to go, you two. Very well done. Now, you might not end up in 3 years with a $1.8 million net worth doing this stuff. It's possible. But you might not own an investment property, and you might not have a $310,000 income. But wherever you are, I'll guarantee you can end up there.
That's exactly right.
And it might be more than 3 years.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Elizabeth had a little extra woo-hoo there because she was the queen of the budget, and she just said at the very end of that, if you caught it, she said, it was really hard. Yes, they sold some property, which fast forward to the process, but they also committed to it and driving older cars, and now there's a couple that are very young, by the way, and on their way to living like no one else, giving like no one else. Don't miss that. It is doable no matter what your income is, but it's hard no matter what your income is.
Let me just say out loud, if you have a $1.8 million net worth, you can buy a new Jaguar F-Type.
Kazash as well.
Just like that.
He just pointed at Dave. Dave, I heard you say that. She's saying no. We've created a fight, folks.
That's good. No, I'm just saying.
All permission given.
Once you're a millionaire, new cars are okay if you got the emotional bandwidth to pull it off. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 19:21. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Andy Andrews, our friend, says, when you know that everything matters, that every move counts as much as any other, you will begin living a life of permanent purpose. That's he does a lot of stuff on, really good stuff on butterfly effect.
Yes.
Comes out of that. Mikhail is with us. Mikhail in in Omaha, Nebraska. I apparently can't read. Hey, Mikhail, what's up?
A few years ago, when we were in the Big 8, I would have been out of shape about that. But now
very nice.
Good job.
My question has to do with tweaking our budget. My wife found out today that she may lose her job. This wouldn't happen until November. And as an aeronautical engineer, I'm trying to stress test our budget.
Ooh.
So my question has
Why
to
would
do
she lose
with,
her job in November?
Well, the company she works for is, I think, in lieu of doing straight layoffs, they're making everyone in human resources reapply for their jobs.
That's weird.
And so, yeah, it's odd. She said there's an 80% chance that she won't lose her job, but again, I just want to stress test this and make sure that we, if we do lose her income, that we, can still keep our four walls going.
What's she make?
She makes $125 in straight salary. I make $185 in straight salary. I do get a bonus and stock options, which would bring up my pay to around $330. But I don't like to count on bonuses and stocks, so I just use our straight salaries as for budgeting.
So you ought to be able to live on your salary, dude. Really?
Yeah. So my question has to do with: do I pull back on 529s for our children, and then right now we have fully funded.
You can't live on $180,000?
Oh, we can.
Okay.
I'm just asking where I should tweak my budget.
You shouldn't.
So that
I mean, you can do anything you're doing right now on $180,000. Can't you?
Yeah, if we, don't put extra money into savings accounts, yeah, we can.
Yeah, there you go. So if in the 20% chance she loses her job, you don't put extra money in savings until she gets a new job. You're killing me here.
Yeah. What do you say? Keep stacking money. Keep doing everything you're doing. And
you're already stacking money.
Yeah,
like crazy. You're making so dadgum much money. It's ridiculous. Awesome. Way to go. Congratulations. And how quickly doesn't she get reemployed really fast?
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about here.
So I mean, what are you really going to lose? I mean, you're going to lose 1 month of income or something like that. And if they do all that, they're probably going to give her a severance. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think that this is their way of not having to give people severances by making everyone reapply for a job.
I honestly, with what I'm hearing there, unless there's something that I don't know, if I were in her shoes, I'm looking for a job.
100%.
Screw these people.
It's wacky.
That's a nut. If you think they're trying to figure out a way to not give people severance and they're too wussified to just do a straight layoff because they're broke, instead they go through this faux thing, this pretend thing, like reapply. Look, if you didn't want me, just fire me.
That's so true.
Why do you have to reapply so you can figure out we wouldn't hire you again? Well, then fire them. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
If I look around here and I wouldn't hire them again, that means their job's in trouble.
Right.
So, I mean, this is bad leadership. I'm probably out of there for those reasons anyway. Long before they get around, I got your reapply.
Right.
Here's my resignation.
That's exactly right. Don't wait for the shoe to drop, Mikhail. And here's the thing: he's a professional warrior, and what I mean by that, by nature of what he does.
Well, he should be. Thank God, he keeps airplanes in the air.
That's right. And so he's
if
looking
I fly
in
an airplane, I want him to be a professional warrior.
So it's okay, Mikhail. Those are really good questions, but you didn't need us as much as you just need to look at, what would be what would need to be true for us to be in really bad shape? And it's just not going to happen.
You don't have a scenario where you end up in bad shape.
You guys are
so you're stress tested. Okay, you're done. You're just not going to stack quite as much money in your absolute worst case scenario. Yeah. Oh well, you're okay. You're stress tested. You're good. However, you got some advice that you didn't pay for.
Yeah,
and that is go ahead, tell her to go and quit.
Yeah,
get in the job.
Yeah,
and just say, I'm going to help you with this reapplication thing.
Yeah. Or show up with an offer.
Unless they're just wonderful people and this is the only stupid butt thing they've done. But I just about guarantee you that a leadership team that doesn't have the backbone to lay people off, that in a situation where they're broke and they can't, and they don't have the capacity emotionally to run their business, that they're probably making many other leadership mistakes that are based on virtue signaling or some other bull crap.
Yeah.
And so, I'm out of there, man. I'm betting you I'm out of there. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a wonderful place other than this one stupid thing. But usually this is one of about 10 stupid things that place is doing.
That's
I'm out
exactly right. I'm with Dave. That's not a one-off. That's a really wacky philosophy on how to lead people. It freaks people out. You specialize in that, You communicate well to our company, and it's like, why would you create all this unnecessary angst for some people?
Well, you got the whole place on the chopping block.
That's right. It's weird.
Instead of just going, 5 of you are gone.
Right.
The rest of you are okay. It's just good communication, and people appreciate it. They appreciate bad news.
Yeah.
More than they appreciate ambivalence.
That's correct. We want to know where we stand.
And that's your leadership lesson for the day, boys and girls.
Yep.
Tell people even if it's bad news. Because here's the thing. If they don't hear bad news from you, they hear it in their head and they make up crap, and it's worse than the actual reality of the bad news.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
And so that's what's going on with this whole company. We're all going to reapply. I don't know what. Somebody read some really bad book.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. It happens, though. All right, John's with us. John's in Orlando. Hey, John, what's up?
Hey, I can't believe I'm on the Dave Ramsey Show. This is so awesome.
Well, I'm honored to have you, but I am a little short on time. Go straight to your question, sir.
Yep. All right, so I'm 27, about to be 28. I'm thinking about popping the question to my girlfriend who's 30. She is going to start nursing school, the accelerated program, next month. Right now, she has about $124,000 worth of student loans. After the nursing school program, she's probably going to be sitting in around $150K mark. I'm kind of just thinking of what's the best way to handle the loans with our other debt, and kind of the best way to do it once
after you're married.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, after you're married. Okay, after you're married, you work the debt snowball, and she'll be out of nursing school. How much longer she got?
So she starts next month in August, and it's a 15-month program.
Okay. So you're probably getting married sometime during that time, I guess, or maybe right after that. And
I was thinking about popping the question towards the end of this year and then being engaged through all of that, because she's not going to really have much time to do anything.
Okay, so she's out. Program. She's out. She passes her bar, and she's got a good income when you get married, right?
Yeah.
And how much do you make?
I net about $110,000, $115,000.
Okay, so you're going to have $200,000 plus income. And we're going to attack this debt when we get married. And let's talk about that before we get engaged. Because if we can be in agreement on how to handle money, about kids, about in-laws, and how to handle the crazy people in her family and your family, that's the in-law part, and about religion, those 4 things cause a high probability of a successful marriage. Be in agreement about those things before you even pop the question. Be talking about them. That's how you know you found a match. Good question, man. Good question. Honored to have you. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Ken. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.